Good morning, Chris Hole, Wake Forest University School of Medicine, Infectious Diseases, here to talk about all sorts of viruses. And we'll start out with respiratory viruses. Interesting season so far this year, because it's just barely into November. Still haven't picked up the pumpkins from the front porch. And we're starting to see respiratory viruses that we usually don't see until late December, January and February. So 3 weeks ago, I mentioned, I think it was 3 weeks ago I was here, I mentioned that we really hadn't started to see much flu in the area yet. Usually when I say something like that, it jinxes me. And that afternoon, I actually got a report that over the 3 days prior to our last chat, cases were starting to go up. So we kept an eye on that, and they continued to go up. And affecting our triad community here in particular, but also all throughout North Carolina, in fact, all throughout the country. School absenteeism is high right now. In fact, if you have kids in school, you probably know that. It's actually affected a few high school football teams because of flu getting and affecting their players. And it's really going through the schools. Most of the flu is influenza A. Most of it is an H1N1 type of A. But since we've been seeing these increase in cases, we're now starting to see more cases also in the hospital. Because people who are at the extremes of age, in particular the elderly and those with underlying health problems, particularly with underlying lung diseases, when they get influenza, they can get exacerbations of the underlying lung disease, and they end up getting in the hospital. Particularly, we're seeing flu in kids right now. Some of this reflects school-wide transmission, but it also reflects, I think, a bit reduced vaccination rates for influenza. Over the last couple of years, people have kind of gotten lax on flu because COVID's been demanding the attention. Our children's hospitals are getting pretty busy.